Sat in these same seats, actually. I sat in these seats many times. I've been on this stage many times. Um, I was the guy coming in after a lunch break, and we're having these assemblies, and I would sit in the back rows up there earlier, and then down here when I got in the later part of the, high school and whatnot. But I didn't pay attention to anything anybody said up here because it was all about me. Because I knew what I wanted, I knew what I had to do, and usually what was going on up here was not anything that I wanted to have a part of. Like I said, I'm a drug addict, and all that became important to me was partying and connecting with the people doing that, whether it was starting out with just drinking, or moving on to, a little bit harder things, whether it was smoking pot, or whether it was popping pills, things like that. I was the one walking down these halls, buying pills off of people. I was the one going home into my parents' cupboards and taking their pills. A lot of people didn't know about that. I could put on a pretty good image in school. I was, like I already mentioned, I like to use humor in things, so I was kind of the funny guy. Class clown. I caused a lot of trouble early in high school. But I was good at it. I would show up, I could finish my homework, I could pass tests. And that had me convinced that whatever drugs I was doing, whatever partying I was doing, that didn't matter because I was able to do the thing that satisfied, whether it was my parents or my teachers, and that was just show up. But nobody knew about what was going on inside of me, and I didn't want to talk about it, and I didn't want to accept it. The inside of me was empty, hopeless. I didn't know where I was going. When I would tell people, and people looked at me, they thought I knew what I wanted. All my friends, they all thought, oh, Tracy's got it figured out what he wants to do, who he wants to be. He's so confident in that. But I wasn't. I put on a good facade, and I know that there's people in this room right now doing the same exact thing. Life can change, though. It doesn't always have to stay that way. You don't have to be like my brother or like me. It can stop now. He said something like this: it's not enough to just feel the flames, you gotta burn your old self away. And Casey quoted a lot of people, and he wrote a lot of his own stuff, and I'm pretty positive this is his own thoughts, because we talked about things like this. But it's not enough to just feel the flames. If you want real change in life, if you want to tackle your dreams and pursue the things in life that are truly important to you, or were truly important to you growing up, you've got to put that whole life that you're creating, the one that's keeping you in bondage, away and hop into those flames of change. There's another writing that Casey did, and I know this one's him writing this. If you want to, I think it's best to kind of get to know Casey through his writing. I'm grateful that he left some of this with us because I feel connected to him when I read these. But he titled this one. He wrote little stories, or he wrote poems or thoughts, things like that. So this one he calls it it's just Empath. So the Empath is the story of a boy who felt far too much. Now I wouldn't say he was overly emotional. He was just more susceptible to feeling than most. Everyone close to him knew something was a bit different. He was very special. By simply walking into a room, he could influence the mood and change the emotions of everyone there. He had such a powerful energy. So much so, anyone that came within range of him, they were instantly drawn to him. He was loved by all, but he loved all even more. He had the biggest heart of anyone. His capacity for love was unfathomable. Casey did love people. A lot of times his actions didn't necessarily show that, but I know him, and I know him on a deeper level than just surface actions. And I know there's a lot of stigmas when it comes to drug addicts, that they don't care about people, or that all they care about is themselves, which is partially true, because that's all we can care about in that moment. We're so flooded with these chemicals that are flooding our minds and our actions and everything we do, but that doesn't mean we don't care. My entire life, my actions probably showed otherwise, that I showed other than caring. But I did, deep inside, and people know that. People, the ones closest to me know that. And we all knew that about Casey, as angry as I would get with him when he would do things that I wasn't so happy about or proud of, because I knew he was more than that. Just like he knew I was more than that. He wrote another thing, and he started writing it. It was about each and every one of his siblings. He didn't get to finish it. It was another thing he started writing in treatment. But he wrote a lot of how he looked up to all of us, the things that were important to him, the things that stuck out, and that to me shows that he paid attention and that he loved more than I could ever imagine. He didn't want to be this kid. He didn't want this to happen. And my hope, and I know he would agree with this, is if his story can influence one life and change them and take them out of that life that he lived or the life that I lived, it's all worth it. He doesn't have to die in vain today. Casey was a good man. I know in high school, early high school, I had this stereotype of what a drug addict looked like, what an alcoholic looked like. I thought an alcoholic was the guy sitting down on the bench with a brown paper bag, passed out, homeless. Thought that's what an alcoholic had to be, so I wasn't one. Same thing when it came to drug addicts. I thought the drug addicts were the ones in the big cities on the streets begging for dope and doing whatever they can to get it, sharing needles, all this kind of stuff. So I wasn't that, because I was going to school, I was showing up. I had a place to stay, I had food to eat, whatever it might be. But little did I know where my drug addiction was going to bring me. 25 years old, the family doesn't want me around, or it's not that they didn't want me around, but it was more that they couldn't have me around because they couldn't watch me kill myself. But you look at this picture of Casey, and that's exactly how he always looked. I wouldn't assume that he was a drug addict, and I'm sure you guys wouldn't either. He has a son, his name's Liam, he's 3.5 now. He's gonna grow up without a dad because of a decision he made, or because just he wouldn't ask for help, whatever it might be. So if any of you are going through anything like this, just ask for help. People are always there. Officer Nicholas gonna, put some numbers up on the screen at the end of this. Give him a call. Life can change. You can accomplish those dreams. I believe that. I believe that for each and every one of you. I had something planned for what I was going to say, the first thing I was going to say, and I haven't touched it. But in 7th grade, I remember being in this school, and my best friend at the time, he played hockey, he was a goalie. We were in whatever it was, Pee-wees back then, I think, or Squirts, I don't know. But he looked up to a goalie in this school who was on the varsity team. I'm not going to say names or anything like that because I haven't talked to him, but he looked up to him. And I remember the second funeral I ever went to in my life was that guy he looked up to. He asked me to come and go to his funeral. That varsity goalie ended up dying in a drunk driving accident. And I didn't think much about it, but I look back now, in hindsight, they say it's 2020. It was kind of foreshadowing, or it was just, I don't know, something I think about a lot, because the same kid who brought me to that funeral ended up dying just a couple years ago in a drunk driving accident. It affects everybody. That varsity hockey player was looked up to in this school, and I'm sure people didn't look to him and say, oh, he's going to die from, alcohol, or what, things connected with alcohol. They didn't expect that from him. But that's the reality, is that I know I had a stereotype of what drug addicts are, what alcoholics are, but it hits everybody, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're smart, whether you're not so smart. It hits everybody. And I got a list here of people that you don't always expect it to hit. And now in media, maybe our stereotypes change a little bit about it, but I think you all know, Mac Miller just recently died. Drugs. Tom Petty last year died, drug related. Prince, 3 years ago now, died from drugs. We've got many people here. There's musicians, Whitney Houston, there's Amy Winehouse, there's actors, there's actresses, Heath Ledger, there's scientists, there's smart people, there's dumb people, there's people who it looks like they have everything. But in the end, they die because this disease, or so I believe the disease, takes them. You don't have to believe that, but either way, the drugs end up taking them. I mean, this list goes on and on. Chris Farley from years ago, I mean, you could look these lists up. It's not what you might picture. It's right here in front of us. There's people in here right now struggling with it. If there's any message I would want any of you to take away from this is that all you got to do is ask for help. It doesn't have to stay the same. Things can change. And I just hope that you would today start to look at maybe drug addicts and alcoholics a little different and have a little bit more maybe understanding or compassion or patience. You know, some of you might be experiencing it too, because I know siblings go through it too. My girlfriend at the time was going through, when I was in high school at the time, she was going through her family member, her brother, going through drug addiction, and I know that affected her big time. So that too, family members and people going through it, reach out and talk. There's people who want to support it. I think the last thing I really want to read or touch on is kind of looking at it. My mom is here. She's not up here reading this. I wouldn't expect her to, but this is a writing she wrote to Casey after he died. To look at it in the perspective of a mother is like something I can't even imagine. As a brother, yeah, it hits me hard. You know, I hate to think that I won't ever see him again here on this earth. It's tough. But as a mother, it's different. I'm going to read it though, and I hope you guys will listen. Please. Casey, I don't need my heart anymore. You can have it. Cut it up. Put it in a box. Bury it in the ground next to you. My eyes are useless too. They only show me a world with you. Colorblind, color absent, colorless. And my mind screams, not fair, not right, not what I was promised on the swing set when I pushed you toward the sun. None of the stories I read to you schooled me for this. I didn't learn this lesson in the moon, or on the train, or as a thing to be curious about, so I don't need my heart anymore. You can have it. Let it be buried in the ground next to you. I love you, your mom, forever. My brother and my sister, Jesse and Ashley, they're going to share a little bit of their experience with Casey, and they'll probably share some of his readings too, so thank you for listening.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about growing up with him. Hi, I'm Jesse Martin. I was closest in age with Casey, 1 year apart exactly. So growing up together, we shared everything from clothes, rooms, birthdays, to years of memories. I remember years pre-high school, we would look forward to baseball games, playing hockey at Ridgewood Rink. New school years, getting school clothes, going places for our birthdays. One of the last sports I was in was football in 7th grade. Casey was in diving. He was also in 7th grade. I didn't rejoin football after that, just because I wanted to smoke pot after high school. I didn't have the time for football anymore. Not sure why Casey didn't join diving after that. Probably along the same reasons.